Okay, let's try divergent boundaries now. Remember, divergent boundaries are when the plates move away from one another. And it's actually a lot more simple than the convergent boundaries because they really only do one thing, and they form oceanic crust in between. Because remember, continental crust is really thick. So even if it's a continental piece of crust that's splitting and moving away, it's just that's too much land to create at the middle of an at the middle of a divergent boundary. Now, if you take a look, when the crust moves away, of course, the magma is going to come up and it's going to form a long chain of volcanoes there, whether it's in the middle of a continent or whether it's in the middle of the ocean right here. Now, because it's creating oceanic crust, even if it happens in the middle of continents, eventually that will create a new ocean right there. And you'll see a long chain of volcanoes down the center of that ocean. So we have a great example of that happening today in Africa. You see, here's Africa, and the west part here is called the Somali African plate. Sorry, that's the east part. The west part over here is called the Nubian African plate. So the Somali African plate is moving southeast, and the African Nubian plate here is moving northwest, and it's starting to split the continent in half right here. In a couple 100 million years, there will be an ocean right there. But right now, all we see are cracks in the plates. And if we look closer, you can actually see some lakes, especially this one right here, very clearly forming a crack in this crust, and that's going to eventually be the center of an ocean. Much like when we were connected with Africa on the other side, North America and South America were connected to Europe and Asia. Right now, there's actually along the middle of the ocean right here, a long chain of volcanoes, and it's like a mountain range. It's called the mid-ocean ridge. That is divergent boundaries.